Hey, 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 what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and I am figuring out how to go live. No, I'm just kidding. We're going live. Hey, everyone, what is going on? Thank you for jumping on and checking out what we are doing today. I have a very special guest with me today, and I get to talk anything and everything we want to talk about when it comes to NADA, which is literally like a week and change away. I can't believe it. Every year it comes and it goes, and we're still surprised that it actually comes. But hey, I have a great friend with me today. I have Misty with me from Podium. Misty, what is up?
What's up? I'm very happy to be here.
Hey, for a lot of people out there that don't know, this is your first NADA, correct?
It is. It is. I'm very excited.
So like baptism by fire kind of a situation. They were just like, hey, there's this event, you should go to it. But you're used to these things. You've done big events before. You were
Yes.
you were with a tiny company before, right? What was it called? Salesforce, maybe?
Yes, I was with a Salesforce partner. So lots of big trade shows.
Just a little company. They don't do anything like just a little company. Well, hey, okay, I've got to honestly, you've been to a lot of trade shows, right? I'm curious, what's one of your favorite parts about trade shows?
That would be, I think, the moments of the show when everybody's on the floor and everybody's
Mm,
walking around and, first of all, the vibe. I think no matter what trade show you're at, right, you could see all the things that people are doing at their booths to either attract attention, to differentiate their products. And then just the conversations, I think that's the moment it's really about. We love the breakout sessions and the opportunity to learn a little bit, but those one-on-one conversations and those networking, I think, that kind of moment and that excitement on the floor. And then, of course, the after
that's why.
parties, I mean, it
Yeah,
goes without
the after parties are just little fun, right? Just
just a little bit.
just a little fun. No, 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 no. I'm with you, right? I mean, like, not too often does the entire industry really kind of come into one place. Sometimes it can be like sensory overload because there's so much to look at and so much to do and see. And I feel like it's like taking my kids like Disney World. It's like you want to hit all of these, but you only end up doing about a third of what you thought you were
Yeah.
going to do. But it's fun. It's fun. It for a lot of us, it's kind of the Super Bowl, of our industry. And rightfully so. There's a lot of fun, good parties to go with it. You guys have a cool booth, by the way. I saw the design of it. I'm like, that thing is fun. It's big. Like Podium, a lot of things are going on at Podium this year. I mean, I don't know if everybody out there watching, listening, but man, I'm telling you, there's about a half a dozen companies I really, really keep my eye on. And there's just a lot of really cool stuff going on at Podium. I got a quick question for you. Well, like, if anybody's out there watching or listening, and they plan on attending the event, what can they kind of expect or possibly learn if they swing by the booth?
Well, you will learn all of the advancements that Podium is doing in AI. So NADA is a really big deal for us. This time last year at NADA, we launched our AI employee, Jerry, and kind of announced it. So it's been a year since that. And so what you're going to hear about is what have we learned? What advancements have happened? What wins have our customers had? At this time last year, there was, I think about 15 dealers in beta on Jerry, and now we're over 1,000. So the data that we have, the learnings, the improvements that we've made are phenomenal. And so, coming by the booth, you're going to hear about that, the products, and how they all connect together to really help dealers make a connected experience for their customers.
I will have to say, I do give you props for the name, like Jerry.
Yeah.
Like I dig that, right? And it just and I do kind of like how the way you guys kind of approach the AI. Look, the cool thing is the whole AI communication, niche in our industry is still relatively new, right? So it is fun to watch and see kind of which companies and how and which directions they go to. And I have to admit, I admire the kind of that AI employee approach that you guys have decided to go down, right? I've seen the assistance approach, and I that is kind of cool in itself. But no, you guys have really said like, no, this is like a new body that can really kind of come in and unload some of that heavy lifting off the sales team. There's another thing I will have to admit to you, Misty, that I am deeply appreciative of is that you guys aren't using the language about replacing people. So
Yes.
I'm going to say that just in advance, maybe this is the old car dog coming out in me. All right, but thank you, because I don't want to replace anybody in this industry. I mean, this is a people industry. We love our people, and so when companies like your guys come out and you guys choose not to use that language, I'm very appreciative. So thanks,
Well,
so
and our
thanks for doing that.
exactly, our customers don't wanna, their team is their team. What they
Yeah,
want is to remove the bottlenecks that they have that, something like AI and an AI employee can come in and automate and help make things move a little bit faster. And we did have an employee yesterday or last week message us and say that Jerry was actually the employee of the month, last month at their dealership, that, he had gone
because
above
all
and
the
beyond.
things it did. Because
Yes.
I love it because of all the things it did. It won the employee of the month.
Yep.
But no, I mean, look, between the time I got in the industry and now, I mean, look, when I got into the industry, even as a service advisor, I only had to deal with really what was kind of in front of me. I wasn't necessarily thinking what was ahead of me.
Right.
And as a salesperson, the same way, right? I played almost every single role inside of a dealership. So even as a salesperson, right, I was only focusing, on the phone call I just got or the up that's out there. I wasn't thinking this like, you know, way in advance and all. And plus, other thing too. I mean, like we had internet leads back then. By the way, we didn't call them leads; we called them inquiries. And a lot of them didn't even come through the internet. They actually came through with a fax machine. Um, like they did. They actually got faxed. They got faxed in, right?
Yep.
But, I mean, the amount of conversations that I see that both service advisors and salespeople have to have these days is amazing. I mean, it's just tremendous amount. So I can see the need for having to have an AI partner. And this is where I'm going down. I find a rabbit hole. I like going down rabbit holes. I got a question for you, Misty. I said, so what should dealers ask for, when they're like shopping for an AI partner? Because, for me, I think every dealer needs an AI partner, but I think we're maybe not sure of how to shop for one. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's such a good question, especially for something like NADA where we talked about it. You're walking the floor. There's all these things going on. I was looking at the agenda, and at least during every session, there's an AI session, right? It is going to be the topic of New Orleans next week for sure. And so, not all those vendors are created equal, and they don't all do the same thing. So, it's really important. And I think one of the first questions you should be asking, especially at a conference like NADA, is your tool built for dealerships, right? Is it not all AI is equal. Not all AI is trained on the same systems. And so the auto industry and dealerships have such specific use cases for AI and how it should be used. And so the number one thing is this actually built for me? Is this built for my specific needs and wants and what it can do? Because anybody can come in and say they're an AI tool
Sure.
for dealerships, but have their team worked with dealerships in creating and building that product?
No, you're absolutely right. And I think that is definitely some key questions, to ask for it, right? Because we've seen this happen in the past many times, kind of in the technology kind of vertical of the automotive industry. Is you'll have someone kind of come in and they'll kind of rejig or rework something to kind of work with the automotive, but it didn't necessarily have that operational understanding. So there are still very key things that are kind of missing inside of that. And then if I could add to your list too, is like not only does what the technology do from a partnership perspective, how does it partner up with my sales team or my service team? How to that interaction I think is key. But I also think what's even key is how the company partners with the dealer.
Yeah.
And I've had the opportunity to actually speak to a handful, actually a fair amount of the people that are currently working with you guys. And I think there's something to be said out there. If you guys are looking for a partner, there's one thing to find a partner in the technology, but there's another thing to actually just find a actual operational partner that wants you to help continue. Because I don't these aren't one size fits all scenarios, right? You know what I mean? I know you got some thoughts on this. Can you elaborate maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing, as a part of that partnership and a question you could ask when you're comparing vendors is what does the onboarding of this AI tool process
Good
look like,
question.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do I buy it and then you disappear and it's up to me to figure out how to get it within my tools and my processes as a dealership? And, what does that relationship look like? Because I was reading an article the other day that something like a third, if not more, of AI implementations throughout, not just auto, but all industries are
Yep.
failing right now. And that's because people are just buying products, but not necessarily knowing how to use them. And it takes training, right? Jerry, our employee, takes training. It takes time to get him onboarded to understand your dealership, your specific frequently asked questions, your communication style, all those things. And so you really do want an organization that's going to partner with you for a long time. Yeah, not just looking to get you on, have you, be there, but really just somebody that can take that feedback. And so that's something I know we take a pride in and invest a lot of time in our product team, in our onboarding team, which are all verticalized and specific on auto, so that we know the problems that you're dealing with, but can also learn from you and continue to work together and really be a partner.
Well, and I think that's key, and I think if you're out there and you're shopping, that's a big deal. Like that's a really big deal, right? Because it's one thing to buy a product. I can go out and I can buy a new mic, which I do on a pretty regular basis. I'm one. I always have the newest one. I'm sorry, I have to have the newest version, But like the one thing, and I love about this company, by the way, this is Zoom. Really, they really have one of the most amazing support teams out there. It's like, I feel like I can text them, I can call them, or I can DM them. And, it's like they really do kind of like get into, well, how are you using it? Where are the conditions? Okay, how was it? So they really want to try to understand how I'm using the product so that they can help better support it. And you guys, and I think you guys are the exact same way. And I think that's super key for anybody out there that's going to be shopping, because you're going to go to NADA, you're going to be doing some shopping, right? Asking not only does how the product partner, but also how the company partners, I think is huge. All right, now let's get into party time, because another great part of NADA are the parties, and you guys are hosting a pretty cool one. Give me the details. How do we register? What do we need to know about it? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, we are throwing a party down on Bourbon Street Friday night. So later in the night from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. It'll be open bar, food. We'll have beads and really be enjoying the New Orleans fashion. This is my first time to New Orleans, so I'm very, very excited to get to be a part of the culture and the vibe. I can post in this, I don't know, Jason, the best spot.
Yeah, I can put a link in for sure.
Whatever, just where you can go register. It will be at Prohibition, and it's going to be a really, really good time. So I'm going to post that in the chat with you, Jason, and just let you run with it.
Perfect. I definitely love that. And by the way, anybody out there watching and listening too, I was just looking at the weather for NADA. It's gonna be chilly. So, have you ever been to New Orleans before? Most people are thinking, a t-shirt, some pants. You might want to bring a little bit more. You might want to bring a little more. It's going to be a little chilly. But man, I love a good time. I actually know exactly what bar that is, and that is going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. So I'm really
good. I've got a bright pink blazer. I'm ready to go, like NOLA flare.
I love the fact that you brought that up. I custom ordered a complete orange suit.
Yes.
I am keeping my fingers crossed that it's because it's coming from a slow boat from China, right? So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's going to be here on time when they said it's going to be here on time, and it's got a matching top hat. Oh, Misty!
Oh, amazing!
We're gonna have amazing. We're gonna have the best time, right?
Yep, it's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be a great time. Now, after the show, speaking of good times, we have some cool stuff coming up, don't we? We have some really cool stuff. So for everybody out there who if obviously you don't know, because we're going to announce it right now, but Podium has partnered up with me and my team for the Game Changer seminar. And these are so much fun. I mean, first off, who doesn't like baseball? Like, baseball is the best thing in the world. It's the best. Misty, you like baseball? Who's your favorite baseball team?
Love baseball. The Minnesota Twins.
Oh, okay. Not a lot of people will say that.
Not a lot of people say
that. There has to be some history then, obviously, if you're a fan of the Twins. So, but that is very cool. But for everybody out there watching and listening, these are one of the coolest seminars you can attend. They're a one-day event, so it makes it very, very easy for you to leave the dealership for a little more than half a day. We start the event right around 2:00 in the afternoon. We have six different seminars across 3 different states. So there will be 2 in Texas, 2 in California, 2 in Florida. If you're in one of those spaces, probably shortly after this episode actually launches, you'll be able to go to gamechangerseminar.com and actually look at those and see if you're in that market for when those dates happen. But you get there about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We have some people that have already attended our game changers and making comments below. I know Christine. Hey, Christine's great to hear. She remembers those. We had one in Toronto. It was a lot of fun. But they're so much fun. You show up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We have a great 4-hour workshop that we can really deep dive into some of the stuff that me and Misty have been talking about, and additional information. And insights that we'll dive into. And then afterwards, we get to break. We get to go to a ball game, have some food, drink some beers, and just really get some great time to network and get to know each other. So we are very excited, Misty, to have you and Podium to be a part of that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be great. We have done some of these games, but nothing at this scale, nothing with Jason, and the whole team is very, very excited to be in these markets and to have this opportunity to connect. So it's going to be great. Can't come fast enough.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. So keep your eyes out as we put more and more information out there. Hey, I know we're getting towards the tail end of our conversation. Misty, for anybody out there watching and listening who would love to kind of connect with Podium and learn more about what you guys are doing, what is the best way to do so?
Well, one, if you're going to be at NADA, stop by booth 2500 2500. If you're a fan of Back to the Future, that's all I'm going to say. But there will be a lot of cool things going on there. So I would highly encourage everybody to stop by. And then if before you want to find anything out about Podium before, go to podium.com/SWJ. That stands for Strategy with Jason. And you can get some more information. And if you sign up for a demo at NADA before, we'll actually give you a $50 gift card on the floor. So I would encourage everybody to go sign up, and I look forward to seeing everybody next week.
Thank you, Misty. I really appreciate you taking the time to jam with me today. For everybody out there watching and listening, thank you for watching this. Hey, if you know of anybody that needs to see this, all right, the biggest compliment you can ever give me as a content creator is to share the show. It means a ton to us. So if you know somebody who's going to NADA, share the show with them. It means so much. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Y'all have an amazing day.